old way of stretching, when I was a child in school, in gym, they used to make us push and stretch and stretch. And when I talk about stretching to people, that's what they think. They think that it's going to hurt. But mine is just sitting in a position for a long time, allowing the body to relax. And when it relaxes, it stretches the muscle. There's so much tension in the muscles. And the only way to get the tension out is to sit in a position, in a stretched position, and allow the muscles to relax, which stretches it. When you continue to stretch, it continues to change the balance of your body. If you stop stretching, it's going to start getting worse again. So every day I would do the stretches and look for the change eventually. And all the changes added up to me realizing that I was moving the bones, that I was changing things on my body internally that were causing certain ailments or certain physical features. You need to stretch every day. And I can tell you that I believe that in my daughter's, she's 11, and in her kids' generation, it's going to be so second nature, and it's going to be, people are going to say, you don't stretch? It's like smoking now. Ooh, you smoke? Before? If smoking was cool, everybody smoked, nobody understood. In my daughter's generation, people are going to say, well, did you stretch?
Okay. So there is Rhonda D'Amour talking about stretching to save your life and to do many. Okay, so Rhonda, that's actually really fascinating.
Thank you.
Now, is this something...
Now, thank you. You finally listened and watched it.
That was just a trial thing, right? But no, it's really fascinating. And did you notice this, invent this, or this yourself?
Okay, first of all, I believe we all have a gift.
Yeah.
We can all do something better than anybody else. Mm-hmm. And it's our job in this world to find out what it is, to pass it on. Not sit on the couch and do nothing about it, to pass it on. And I'm destined to do this. I was born into a family whose mother was the only survivor of a muscle disease. And I babysat for my uncle when I was 16, who was the last to die of this disease. He lasted 20 years longer than he was supposed to. So I had no idea that when I was, 15 years ago, I stumbled across a neuromuscular therapist at Canyon Ranch in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And he measured my bones and there was a diagram on the paper, and he drew diagonally across my shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. And he said, do you carry something heavy on your left side? And I had been modeling for 13 years at that point, and I carried a heavy model bag. Mm. And I said, yes, I carry a heavy model bag. And he said, well, here are some stretches to help correct the crooked spine. I did the stretches every single day, and every day I noticed a change. I never missed a day, an hour a day for 8 months. And the reason I stopped after 8 months is because on that day I didn't notice a change, and I knew that with all the information that I gathered, that I was moving the bones and balancing my bone structure, which was we're changing a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And I also knew that his stretches had done all they could do. Mm-hmm. So I started to develop my own that lasted 4 hours every day.
You stretch for 4 hours a day?
Day.
Still?
In the last year and a half, I do not. Mm-hmm. I only stretch now when my body calls for it. It's crazy that it took all those years to get to that point. And I don't want to scare people. Mm-hmm. No one's going to do what I do. Mm-hmm. I've mastered it. So now I'm able to work with people with all kinds of ailments. Mm-hmm. Back pain, arthritis, diseases, strokes, muscle disease, Parkinson's.
So these aren't just physical, muscular or skeletal things. These can be, like, I don't know, what about like diabetes or cancer or heart disease or stuff like that you wouldn't think stretching would.
Hugh, when the body is not aligned properly, nothing will function the way it's supposed to, and that's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. And as you start to balance it and undo it through stretching, then the body just starts to work properly, and all of the problems in the body that seem to be so huge in this world to people, cancers, anything, your body talks to you every day. And if it's uncomfortable, it's not saying to you, go and take a pill. Right. And it's not saying run to your doctor. It's saying get on the floor and stretch the stress out of the body, which will in turn eventually start to move the bones back into a balanced state.
So when you're working with people with different types of diseases, are you teaching them to get in touch with their body and create their own stretches, or are you actually assigning specific stretches?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I teach people, I teach them how to listen to their body and what to do when the body talks to them. And it becomes a lifestyle for them. So I don't want someone to come to me and have to work with me for the rest of their lives like a chiropractor. Chiropractors have the right idea. They're moving the bones, but because you haven't stretched the muscle to keep that bone in the proper place,
There's
and
maintenance.
You walk out and you walk right back into the same position.
Because he's done the moving for you.
Yes, he did.
Right.
And you haven't done it yourself.
Right.
So it's not your body that's holding it up. It's what he just did and what he's got to do the next time.
Exactly.
And when you go back into routines, you're just shifting it back instead of
Right.
working with your body to improve it for good.
And also, every day that you use your body, you're using your body one side more than the other. If you're doing a lot of sitting, you're bending over, you're lifting, whatever way you're using your body every day, you need to go at the end of the day to realign your body and put it back into a more balanced state for the next day, or it's going to continue to get worse.
Right.
So, for people that are watching this right now, when you talk about listening to your body, what do you mean exactly? Like for
Your body talks to you. Do you get a headache? That's your body talking to you.
Right.
Do you have a back pain? Can you not breathe? Your hearing's going? That's all a part of it.
Okay,
But we call that the aging process.
right. So
You're-
this can combat the aging process? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can ask how old I am? 80.
Wow.
80's the
Get
new
stretching.
80's the new 40, right?
Do you imagine what I'm going to look like when I'm 150?
Whoa, you're gonna
Right.
look at only 75.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have developed a television show that is being pitched in January. And Oprah, if you're listening, okay, you
And
can
she
pick
is.
it up. It's being pitched to OWN Network in the States, to One Here, which is associated with Oprah, and Vision, as well as a few other things.
That's
Okay.
great.
So
Yeah.
so your body's talking to you. You got pains, aches, whatever it is, right? Then what's the next step?
Well, it wants you to listen to it right away, because if you don't listen to it, it never starts with a headache. It usually starts with a pain in the back. You ignore it. It moves up into the upper back, into the shoulders, and then it goes into the head. You take a pill,
Right.
or headache pill, or you live with it, and that's it. But if you listen to your body, whatever it's saying, if it's a pain in your foot, if it's knee pain, if it's back pain,
Yeah, knee pain. Let's talk about knee pain.
all of
for
that.
a minute.
Oh,
And that's
we have some knee pain here, do we?
I'm just saying because like I ride my bike, and
Yeah.
I noticed that maybe over the last year it's going
Okay.
whereas before I could give her 100%.
Yeah. You know why?
Now a little
Okay.
bit of knee pain.
Right. Because the balance of your body's getting worse. So if the balance is getting worse inside, it's eventually going to get down into that chain reaction is going to run down into your knee. So your knee's going to take on too much. The muscles around the knee are doing more work than they're supposed to, because
Right.
all these other muscles that are not aligned properly and the chain reaction isn't running down to them aren't kicking in to help.
All
Right.
right. So how do you know what to stretch? I'm not even sure what your stretching
Right.
looks like, and how do you know what kind of stretching you have to do to deal with whatever ailment that you're dealing with?
Well, when stretching is about sitting in a position for a long time, okay?
Yeah.
Allowing the body to relax. The longer you stay in the position, the longer the body, the muscles then start to elongate. And then that sends the chain reaction through the rest of the muscles, okay? So you're not going to hit your knee pain, and you're not going to change the alignment in your knee until you continue to stretch the rest of the body. So I teach stretching in your everyday life. So when you're watching TV, don't lay on the couch. Sit in front of the TV in a stretched position.
Right.
Because when you first sit there, the muscles are tense and short, and you feel that stretch pain. But the longer you stay, the more relaxed it becomes. It elongates, and then you can open them up a little further. But the secret to stretching for a long time, instead of saying, okay, when you get to the point where I don't want to sit in this position anymore, and then you get out and you say, I'll stretch again later, you can trick your body by changing the position slightly and then taking the tension of those muscles, and you can continue to do this. That's how you stretch for a long time, and then you still can work on the computer, talk on the phone.
I
Right.
still don't quite get it. Are you stretching right now?
No, actually, I'm not. Surprisingly enough, I'm really not.
Could you stretch for us right now?
Oh, you're kidding. You have to go on the website for that.
Well, you're sitting in the chair.
Well, you can just bend over, right? Well, hopefully. You can just bend over and relax. So if you
Right.
get back pain, right? And if you're somewhere where you can't
Right.
get up, you just stretch over and stretch the pain out.
So you're just
and the tension.
stretching.
Absolutely.
Well, just straighten yourself out. Like put some
Change
pressure.
the
I don't know.
position?
Move your
Of your legs.
I guess.
Put a box under
Yeah.
there while you're talking.
Just,
Just-
Right.
just stretch any part, every part of your body.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand it.
Yes.
Because you're just like right now, my legs are out and I'm stretching them.
If there
Yeah,
was
there
a
you go.
box underneath your legs
Yeah.
and you started to do the show for the
Yeah.
next hour
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
you would feel, if you have any kind of tension or anything going on in the body, you'll feel it release.
Right.
That's how fast it works.
And I guess that's a good reminder because we forget that our spine is our lifeline. And if that's not fluid, we're going to live shorter. So often
Absolutely.
people end up dying younger than they need to because they don't have that healthy spine.
That's
So it
right.
could be anything, any position that is like a stretch. Like right now, I'm stretching.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Just stretch it.
Yep. And then what's going to happen is you're going to feel the tension come out of there, and then you're going to feel it go somewhere else. So that's because your body's like a rope with knots. So as you undo each knot, it's going to go down to the next problem and the next problem. So it'll feel great. You'll stretch it out, and then you'll be like, whoa, I feel something down here. And then you stretch that, and not necessarily always to stretch wherever the pain is, because you might stretch. You might have for sure you have neck pain,
Right.
and you stretch your back, and all of a sudden it will release the pain in the neck because it's interconnected.
Right. And again, it's like any disease. You got to go to the source instead of dealing with the symptoms, which is what we're
Absolutely.
used to.
Yeah.
What about, do you talk about on your website or anything that you do in regards to how it also has toning effects? Because often people underestimate what stretching really does.
Yes.
So we got like this, spine and muscle health, but it's also a workout.
It does tone because, and I'll go back to this, when whatever's going on the inside of the body is directly related to what's going on the outside. So you know how we age and nothing fits, and women get this and here and all the things that fall.
Right.
Men too maybe, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
And, so it's because, and they say as you get older you get shorter. Yes, because your body's becoming twisted up, so nothing fits and everything falls.
Right.
So as you start to stretch and realign and everything start on the inside, you start to balance yourself. On the outside it shows. So then everything starts to fit properly.
Right.
And then if you incorporate proper eating and exercise with that, your body changes very quickly.
We go back to healing ourselves.
Yes.
He's doing his
Which is the
stretches.
way it's supposed to be.
Can I help you?
I'm stretching right now. Don't help. It's like a crutch.
So let me tell you that in January, the Windsor Arms Hotel, I'm sure you're familiar with it, they are launching a new program, and it is a luxury wellness program, and they have a few specialists. I will be one of them, working with the people, teaching them how to stretch properly and incorporate this into their everyday life.
Now,
That's great.
I just have to ask you, because my paranoia is that I'm doing something wrong, right? That I'm not stretching
Right.
right.
That's
I'm
a
doing
good
it the
question.
wrong
Oh, that's good.
way, right? How do you know that you're not maybe going too far, or, and I notice, you do a stretch and you get tired, like those muscles get tired, and
Right.
you want to stop stretching
And then what do you do?
Relax.
Let's see if he was listening. What do you do
you
when your
sh-
muscles get
you
tired?
shift slightly,
Absolutely.
and you trick your body.
You would be amazed how much that works. But to know if you're doing it properly, it's the same thing. Your body's talking to you. You'll see when you start to stretch properly like this, it will be very relaxing. People that can't sleep, the reason they can't sleep is because physically they're not tired. Their bodies aren't tired. They're full of knots and stress. So as you start to relax, the tension comes out of the body, and then I have clients that fall asleep through the stretch.
Absolutely.
So that's your body becoming relaxed. But if you're in a position And you'll know the difference between a stretched feeling and a pain. And you stay away from that pain. If there's a pain anywhere in the body, your body says, no, not this position. And you just change and continue to follow the stretched feeling.
Right.
That's how
Listen
you know.
to your body.
I'm writing that down.
Yes.
Continue to follow the stretched feeling.
So how do you work with people who are having a hard time, whether it's time or they're just not used to it? And at this point too, like I'm having a hard time creating time for stretching. And
Okay.
sleeping is one of my issues. I have long-term
Okay.
locked muscles. I know what to do, but I'm not applying it.
Okay, when you're sleeping, what are you when you're trying to fall asleep, what are you doing? Are you rolling around, moving around? What
Well,
are you
currently
doing?
I sleep with my son, so I'm not doing a lot of anything that feels good because I'm in position that is comfortable for him.
Bad.
But in
Bad.
general, that's always been the case. I've always had issues with my back
Okay, you can sleep with him, just move him over. But you need your space to sleep. You don't have time to stretch? Absolutely. You have time when you're in front of the computer, like I
Right.
said, watching TV, talking on the phone, making appointments, whatever it is you do, and sleeping. I fall asleep every single night in a stretch. It might last 6 hours, my stretching. It might last
Wow.
5 minutes. When my body the tension is out of my body, I fall asleep.
So what kind of stretches would you do while you're trying to fall asleep?
Okay,
Yeah,
I
and
have a couple.
Yeah.
You can, well,
Yeah, on your back, your
you
side,
could-
your front.
You could sit, first of all, you could sit you could sit on the side of the bed, which is how I start.
Okay.
If you know, when I might lie down and be comfortable, and then all of a sudden my body starts going, "Ah," you know, with
Right.
tension, anxiety, whatever. So I'll sit up on the side of the bed with my legs open and just sort of lean forward.
Got it.
And then when I get tired of that, I keep moving over towards each side of the leg, and the tension starts to relax, and start, you know, the stress starts to come out.
Okay.
You can bring your knees to your chest while you're lying in the bed.
Okay.
But my favorite stretch is in here. I hold and push and stretch the muscle in between or on the forehead, in between the eyes, and I just put pressure on it and stretch it. Now you're going to stretch by starting to do this. You'll
Okay.
stretch and you'll feel tension just right here. I've been doing it for so many years that my chain reaction goes right down into my abs.
Nice.
Okay?
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and that's amazing. That takes away headaches. That helps you to sleep.
It's great because this is something that's been on my mind, including last night. So
Really?
I'm glad you came. It's a great reminder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I need to stretch.
Quick question. A lot of people have lower back pain. And you know, now they have all these super high-tech things where they uncompress your, whatever that part of your lower back is.
How do they do that? With a machine?
Yeah, some kind
Okay.
of machine. But, and sometimes I feel like, I don't really have back pain, but I have,
Knee pain. What else?
no, anyways. Well,
Old
the
man
I
pain,
could
you know.
I could feel the back, though, to me,
Yeah.
it feels compressed.
Oh,
The lower
okay.
back.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I figure there's got to be a good way to stretch that out. Like, what would you do to stretch your lower back?
Well, what I do to stretch my lower back is I lay on the floor and I put my legs over my head, and I can stay there for
love
3
that
days.
position.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's an amazing
But
position.
anybody who has a lot of tension can't start out like that. So I would suggest to you to get on your hands and knees. And they have all these positions I hear in yoga that
Right.
they say, oh, that's the cat stretch or that's this stretch. And I'm like, I invented that. I listened to my body and it progressed me to
Right.
that stretch. Okay, all right. But so you get on your hands and knees and you just sort of stretch your back out. Any stretch, bending over, just standing up straight, bending over, relaxing forward,
Any stretch.
sitting, any
Move.
stretch, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll start to feel it.
Wow.
Touch
Really
your toes.
Cool. What about breathing? Is there breathing involved? Can you stretch by breathing?
Well, I know that there was a time, and probably still people believe that you have to breathe, like it's this breathing exercise. Well, it just naturally happens. You'll see as everything starts to open up and realign and function properly,
Right.
even the organs, everything's interconnected, the breathing just becomes very deep because the stress around the lungs comes out. So
Right.
everything happens after. Everything just happens naturally.
Because
when
we
you
are
stretch.
pretty horrible breathers, but that comes with the stress levels and the anxiety. People don't realize they're hanging on. and not, are you stretching right
I'm
now
stretching
here?
right
But
now.
not only that, but they're hanging on, and their posture's bad, and they're
Right.
hanging on, and they're not breathing properly, not because it's a habit. It's because physically their bodies are not allowing them
Right.
to do that because of the state that the body's in, and as you get older, it gets worse.
Really interesting. So I know you guys got to run to another meeting soon, but so you're talking about some pretty miraculous
Amazing.
effects that this can do.
Right.
Stuff that you wouldn't think stretching. Can you
Right.
just give us a list of some of the things that stretching can deal with?
Wow. Well, you name it, it does it. If you go on the website, stretchhealer.com, stretchhealer.com.
I'm writing it down.
We take our notes.
I am the stretch healer, okay? And I work with people with Parkinson's, like I said, and you'll see some cases on there. It affects everything. And that's pretty bold of me to say so, but I have learned this stuff and taught myself through 4 hours of stretching every day for 15 years or 13 years. You don't not learn something incredible when you're putting that much time and effort into your body. So, I've worked with people that have been involved in car accidents with their pain, and just everyday people, anything, even children. We talked about that earlier. You want to get your kids into this. If they see you doing it, they're going to do it.
Right.
My daughter now knows, she's 11 years old, and she knows, if somebody has a problem, she's always running to me. Oh, my teacher mom, she has this problem or that problem, and so has. Can you stretch them? I said, oh,
That's nice. I guess it's
But she
important to bring
knows.
it back, because if you look at babies, they naturally know what to do. If anything, we need to mimic what they're doing more.
Right.
They don't think about it. They move, they stretch. But it's about making sure that they remember to do that as they get older.
Absolutely.
So,
It's a way of life. And when you do it with your kids, it's important. You can do it with your spouse. It's great.
stretch off of each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's quality time, and you're healing, and you're learning, and
Right.
it's great foreplay.
Could it?
Did you see his eyes?
Whoa.
He's like, the whole- You're going to have a special Christmas this year.
Can it improve eyesight?
Absolutely.
Really?
I talk about that. My eyesight improved. These are the things when I started to stretch that led me to realize that I was changing everything in my body. My eyesight improved. I had just gotten glasses in '96. My hearing improved. I didn't even know that it was going. The kids listen to, anybody listens to anything, and I said, can you turn that thing down? It's so, my hearing is acute. I'm 48.
Wow, you look great.
Okay, thanks. So I at 48, I should have my hair. My hair should be not as healthy as it
Right.
was. My eyesight should be really bad. My hearing should be going. I should be going through menopause.
Right.
I should be uncomfortable. I should be getting headaches. My body shape should be changing. No,
Well, 48's the new 24,
especially when you stretch.
especially when you stretch. Okay, so people,
So
how do they can people do this themselves, or do they
yes.
need you to show them,
Well,
or
they do need me to show them. Listen, when I was going through a hard time, whenever I go through anything, that's when I read. I'll read books to help me through it. And I remember going through a hard time, and I watched an infomercial on Tony Robbins. I did not have to buy the CD to get what he was saying
Right.
to change my life, and I did change my life through his infomercial. So if you're really listening to me, and you're listening to how easy it is, and get rid of all the anxiety and just try it, you can figure it out. If you
Right.
trust what I'm saying to be the truth, you can figure it out for yourself. But if you want to come see me, I am working with people in the GTA, all through Toronto, outside of Toronto, and I will teach you properly how to stretch. Once you know it, you will never forget it, and once you feel it, you will never stop doing it.
Absolutely. It's just about getting started.
how long or how many sessions before somebody gets it and they're on their own?
I guess it depends the person, right?
Yeah, but-
I didn't, yeah. I guess it depends the person, and whatever's comfortable with them. I've taught people in an hour. People think they need me. I've had to stop people and say, you don't need me anymore.
Right, you
Stop. Right?
Wow.
So
So-
what's next for you? Are you thinking about doing videos and writing a book?
I do have a DVD out, but we are redoing it.
Okay.
And the show I'm waiting to because this knowledge that you and I are talking about and everybody on that's viewing right now, it's great that they can see it, but to have a weekly show every week
Right.
to work with people and to teach them how to do it themselves. Oh, come on. That's money can't buy that, right?
That's great.
And you know what inspired it was The Dog Whisperer. I watched The Dog Whisperer and I kept watching it and watching it, and all of a sudden one day a light bulb went off and I said, that's what I do with people. So that's what the show's about. I take 2 cases, a serious one and one with just back pain, headaches, and I find out, I go through the history of what their body's been through, why I can figure out why you're having back pain and knee pain and you ride and you sit a lot or whatever. Teach them what to do, work with them for a couple of weeks. We go back, we film them, and then you see how it's changed their life. Same thing.
Do you find there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes out with that as well?
Oh, you're smart, eh? Absolutely. I remember as you stretch, it becomes like when you stretch for 4 hours, it becomes like a meditation.
Right.
So you're just tuning into what's going on in your body. I remember things and conversations I had and what I was eating when I was 2.
Wow.
And muscle holds a memory.
Absolutely.
So when you go through any heartache or physical pain or anything like that, your body tenses up, and unless you go and stretch it at the end of the day, it stays in there. And it's amazing that as you stretch, you start seeing pictures flash out or memories flash out. And you know, I always say that we all have a sixth sense. But people are so bogged down with fear and anxiety and pain and discomfort that they can't tap into it. So every once in a while you get like a coincidental thing that happens, or I saw that happen. But when you have no tension in your body, my sixth sense, and that's what that is.
You're quicker.
Is
How about something like, say, autism or some kind of toxic problem with the body, a body damaged by toxins and some.
Is that what
some
autism is?
Some people say it is.
Right,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that anything that is going on inside the body, and especially with anything that's going on up in the head, right? Even Parkinson's, that's a neuromuscular or what is it?
Neurological.
Neurological disease or problem, because the body is so imbalanced. But by the time it gets up into here, there's nothing really connected, and if there's nothing connecting properly, the brain's not going to function properly. So whatever's going on in there, I believe that stretching will change all of those things. But it will take a lot of stretching to get to that point. But again, the results are immediate. So as soon as you start stretching, all kinds of amazing things are going to happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, because it sounds like it's just the way in Chinese medicine, right? It's the meridians and the energy flow through the body.
Yeah.
Right.
And that stuff, if that's working, it's getting rid of toxins.
Yeah.
It's doing all the stuff that the
Right.
body needs,
Which-
and that's what this is supporting totally.
Right, and everybody has their own beliefs on what these diseases are caused from, and stretching will get the toxins out, it will get the body functioning properly,
Right.
it will, do all those things. The energy starts to flow better, so all of those.
Wow.
Right. And do you
Fabulous.
suggest, because it's come up a few times where you mention at the end of the day, do you find that it's the best time for people to do it if they can't do it throughout the day?
Absolutely.
Okay. So just kind of
Absolutely.
release
Yeah.
whatever
When? At
is
night?
Absolutely.
at night.
Like before bed.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
And
this
do
is-
it throughout the day.
Yeah.
Whenever you
you
can.
can, like right now.
Right.
This is great, Rhonda. I really want to say thanks for coming in and tell us about this today. And
Thanks for having me.
And good luck with the
and
show.
good luck with everything. And people
Yeah.
can find out more by going to stretchhealer.com, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's with 2 H's
Right.
beside each other in the middle,
Right.
just so people know that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Okay.
again.
Thank you.
Rhonda D'Amour, the Stretch Healer. Okay, Rhonda, thank you.
Thank you.
So let's take a little break,
And
Aaron.
stretch.
And what?
And stretch.
Yeah, I'm
That's
stretching.
right.
I'm always gonna be stretching now. And we're going to come back with Sean Jason from I Love You, Pass It On, and more. We'll be right back.
Lost in love in the night. Frosty fingertips to the curve of your